Okay, I'm working number 9, which is similar to number 8 if you just watched that video. If you remember, we've had this on a interim before too. Again, if you see a proportion set up, anytime you see a proportion set up, you can always solve by using what you guys remember being called the butterfly method. So just set those up. You just need to make sure that since this is more stuff, it's not just one term, you need to make sure you multiply it by both. So I always set it up in parentheses and I say 3 and then times 4w plus 6 is equal to 4 times w plus 14. So if I distribute those, that's going to give me 12w plus 18 equals 4w plus 14 times 4 is going to be 56. Now I need to get my variables on the same side first. I'm going to subtract 4w. So I'm going to subtract 4w. That means 8w is what's left, plus 18 equals 56. Now I'm back to just a two-step equation, so subtract 18 from both sides. That means 8w is equal to, should be 38. Divide by 8, divide by 8. That means w is equal to 38 over 8. But if you'll notice, that's not a multiple choice option, and you have to reduce it. If it ends in even numbers, you can always reduce. So divide them both by 2. Divide by 2. That means that you have 19 over 4, which is, which option is that? I just flipped the page. 19 over 4 is C. All right, number 10, similar figures. We did a little bit of this, or you should have done a little bit of this in 8th period. If you didn't, you just set up a proportion where this figure is equal to that figure, keeping the sides on the same, lining them up. So you would say 9 over 7 is equal to x over 2. And since, again, this is just a proportion, you just cross multiply. So 7 times x is 7x is equal to 9 times 2 is 18. All right, you're going to divide by 7, and that means that your answer is 18 over 7, but it's not listed like that. It's listed as decimal form. So since it's listed as decimal form, you would just take 18 and divide it by 7, and whenever you do that right here, you say 18 divided by 7 is going to be 2.57, which rounds to 2.6. So it's 2.57 or 2.6, and that is answer C. You're going to do the same thing with number 11, the triangles. You're going to set these up the same. Make sure that your sides line up. So you have 11 over x is equal to 34 over 25. And do your cross multiplication. So that's going to be 34x is equal to 11 times 25. 11 times 25 is 275. 275. Again, you're going to divide by 34. Divide by 34, so that means x equals 275 divided by 34, which is 8.08. And that is also the same thing as rounds to 8.1, and that is the answer of D. Now, this last one might be one that you guys forgot. This is chapter 3. It's inequalities. It can be a little tricky, but use your PEMDAS first. So you're going to distribute this and get rid of those parentheses. So you're going to have P plus 4. And that's going to now be a negative 2P, and that's going to be a positive 20, or all greater than 0. So now it doesn't look quite as bad. You can combine your terms. You have a P and a negative 2P. That's going to leave you with a negative P. And then you have 4 and you have a 20, so that's going to be plus 24. And that's still going to be greater than 0. Now you need to get your subtract 24 to get rid of that. So subtract 24. That means you have negative P is greater than a negative 24. Remember, that's a negative 1P, and I'm going to have to divide by a negative 1, so divide by a negative 1. But remember the rule, whenever you divide by a negative, you have to flip the sign. So that means P is going to be less than, and 2 negatives make a positive, so P is less than 24. And so your answer is going to have to be D. Now pay close attention to that, because the answer D is actually 22. Remember, that's less than 24. It doesn't